Hello, welcome to my channel Devops with Prasanna. This is day 8 in Learn AWS in 30 Days series. And today we are going to talk about how to serve static website using CloudFront. This will be extension of what we discussed on day 7, where we serve the static website using S3 bucket. Cool. Let's dive in. Yeah, before going into the CDN in CloudFront, I just want to thank you all for your wonderful support. This is actually very much motivating. Like we reached 165 subscribers in just 1 week. So thank you all. Thank you for your wonderful support. This is what keep me going in creating the courses. Thank you. Yeah, so now we'll jump into CDN and CloudFront. CDN stands for Content Delivery Network. So it's Content Delivery Network. So it's nothing but a way to deliver the contents in a better way. So for example, let's say we have some content here. Let's say it's a S3 bucket containing some files, okay, static files. Let's say images and some CSS and HTML files, and we want to deliver this content to the users. So in the best possible way, that is the objective. So to understand like what is meant by like the best possible way and things like that, we'll just look at one concept which is called network latency. So for example, your users are in USA, okay, and all these files are present in India. And if your user wants to access these files in India, it will take a lot of time due to the geographical limitation. Like the distance is huge, and so the time it takes, the time spent in network, it's actually like very, very big. So that is called as network latency. So the minimal your network latency, the faster your files will be received by the user. So that is the objective. Okay. So like for this purpose, like you can't change your location of your S3 bucket to USA because let's assume like you have users in India as well. Okay. And let's say like you have users in Europe as well. EU. So all these people want to get your content. So that is the objective. In this case, the concept is called as edge caching, which means we'll set up a cache location in the corresponding regions. For example, for USA, we'll set up a cache location in USA. For Europe, we'll set up a cache location in Europe. Like it could be like any country in Europe, but we'll set up a cache location here. Similarly, we'll set up a cache location in India also, if we need it. So if we set up a cache location, what will happen is when the first user requests for the data for the content will not be available here. So in this case, this will automatically go and fetch the data from the corresponding S3 bucket or whatever the source is, and this source will be like it will be sent back to this corresponding edge location, and it will be stored in this edge location also in a specific cache, and this content will be served to the user. Let's say for example, if a next user comes in the same US location, he'll go to this CloudFront first, and he'll get the information from this cache itself. He'll not even go to the corresponding S3 bucket. So that is the idea. It is a simple caching mechanism, but this caching mechanism is dependent on geography. So for US, there is a specific cache available, which is accessed using the edge location. And similarly in Europe, and similarly in all the other places. So this concept is getting popular, which you have to understand, like this edge caching or edge computation. So that is a separate discussion which we'll have it in some other day. There are a lot of ways to do edge computation, meaning for example, if you want to do some kind of computation or some operation, that can be done at the edge location itself. Yeah, as I mentioned, like we can see it another day. Some of the examples are like Vessel platform is having edge middleware. Cloudflare is having the edge computation tool. But that is not related to AWS, and we can see it in some other session. Okay, but this is completely about edge caching. Cool. Now we'll see like And CloudFront is nothing but a managed CDN. So all these things will be taken care by AWS, and we just have to configure few things. So before going into a demo of this CloudFront, I'll just explain about three concepts in the in the CloudFront usage. The first one is origin. Origin is nothing but your S3 bucket. So this is called as origin. Origin is the source of your content. Okay, and it can be like many other source as well in AWS ecosystem. You can have origin as S3 bucket, or you can have origin as application load balancer, or you can have origin as EC2 instance. And in these cases, all the HTTP requests will be cached. So if you have a GET request, the response of the GET request will be cached in the edge location, and it will be served to your user. So the performance will be very fast, and your server will not be bombarded with a lot of requests. So that is the idea. The second thing which you want to understand is distribution. This is the actual CloudFront resource which you are going to create, the CloudFront distribution. So once you create this distribution, you'll give configurations such as what are the locations in which you want to set up the edge location. For example, in this particular scenario, I've set up the distribution. This distribution, I've set up the edge location for US, set up a location for Australia, and we have set up a location for India. So there are three edge locations which are available in this corresponding CloudFront distribution. So I'm saying like we are choosing the location. Okay, there are like a lot of edge locations available. I think it's more than 200 locations are available as of now. But we want to minimize the number of edge locations we have, because for each and every edge location we are going to pay the cost, and it depends on the location geography also. For example, surprisingly, like US is having like much cheaper cost for storing at a per GB level compared to India and other places. So we'll restrict the location to specific regions where our targeted users are. And these are some of the things which we already discussed. If the data, if for example, when the user access the edge location, or if he requests the data, first he will go to the edge location and see if it's present in the cache or not, edge cache or not. If it's present, it will be served from here itself. If it's not available, it will use the private AWS network and get the information from the source or the origin. Cool. Now there is a third concept which is called origin access control. This is nothing but a policy similar to the IAM policy, where we'll say this CloudFront distribution will have access to S3 bucket. So if you remember in the previous session, we allow public access to this S3 bucket, which means anyone can access these files over the internet. But in this case, what we are doing is we are not allowing the public access. Instead, we are allowing access only from the CloudFront distribution, and that will like this specific CloudFront distribution. So this is a policy which we want to set, and to manage this policy, we will be creating origin access control in CloudFront. I think cool. This is good. We'll see a quick demo of this, and then we'll come back to one more concept. So this is the S3 buckets which we have, and I'm going to use this bucket. If you remember from the yesterday's session, we set this to publicly accessible. First, we want to remove this public access, so we don't want to have the public access. But to show you a demo, this is what the application is going to look like. Yeah. This is a public URL. So this is what the application is going to look like. This is what the website is going to look like. Okay, so we'll come here. To remove this public access, we'll go to permissions, and I'll go to edit, and I'll say block all public access. So once I block this, If I go to object, if I go to index.html, and if I try to access this, okay, I think it is not there. Yeah. So you'll see a access denied message. Okay, because like the public access is blocked now. Now what we want to do is, um, this is also something. This catch. Okay, cool. So the warning or error or the warning which we saw there, mentioning that this is a publicly accessible, it's gone now. Now we'll go to CloudFront. Okay, I'll create a new CloudFront distribution. Choose the origin domain. So I'm going to choose the origin as my S3 bucket. So it is giving a warning that this has a static web hosting enabled. So I want to go here to the properties. I want to go to the static web hosting, and I want to sorry, I'm in the wrong place. I want to go to Prasanna bucket properties. Disable the static web hosting. The reason for doing this is CloudFront is going to host this website for us. We don't have to host this website from S3 itself. Cool. So this is got removed. Now I'll go to CloudFront and I'll choose the origin here. Maybe I'll just create it one more time. Properties, starting with is disabled, but I think it's coming from the cache. Okay, I think it should go good. This should be fine, and the name of this distribution is Learn AWS Invalidation-Prasanna. This should also be fine. And origin access. There are three ways in which to set up the access between CloudFront and the S3 bucket. We want to set up in the recommended way, which is origin access control settings. If you remember, this is what we mentioned about the IAM policy. So we have to choose origin access control, but I'm going to create a new OAC. This should be fine. This is fine. I'll just say do not sign request. Okay, so this new origin access control got created, but you can see a warning message that here you should update your S3 bucket policy. So what we'll do is we'll update the S3 bucket policy with it. Other custom headers are fine. We don't want to enable the shield now. We'll see it in the security session later. Path pattern is fine, and allow specific methods are get and head, which means we don't want to make any changes into the S3 bucket from this CloudFront. So we don't want the public to modify the things in the S3 bucket. So we are only allowing get and head methods. This is fine. Yeah, so there is a cache policy. So what we'll do is we'll view the policy. Oops, let's make on this one. I think these things should be fine. Yeah, I don't want to enable security protections now. We can see it at the latest. And these are the edge locations which I mentioned. So we can either set up edge location in all the locations, or we can use only North America and Europe, which is a little bit cheaper, or we can use North America, Europe, Asia, Middle East, and Africa. That is like the second level. But as of now, we'll set up in all the edge locations, and then we can delete this one. So all the other things looks fine. I just want to set up the default file. Dex.html. Okay, I'll ask it to create distribution. So it's saying like your S3 policy needs to be updated. We'll copy the S3 policy and we'll go into S3 bucket. Okay, so we have a policy here. We'll go to edit bucket policy. So if you remember, to understand this policy in a better way, This is allowing all the principal all, which means all the users to do S3 get object in this particular S3 bucket. So that's what this rule is about. And now we are going to replace this with this particular policy. So this policy, this is the only statement, and you can see the effect is allow, and the principal is CloudFront, Amazon, AWS, which means this is going to serve only the CloudFront. This policy will be only applicable for CloudFront, and the action is going to be S3 get object, and the resources it's going to act on this S3 bucket only. There is like one more specific condition which we haven't seen before. So this condition means even in this CloudFront, not all the CloudFront distribution should be able to access this S3 bucket. Only the CloudFront which has this source ARN, and the ARN is like this is my account ID, and then this is my distribution CloudFront distribution ID. So only this CloudFront distribution should have access to this S3 bucket. So that is the idea. Cool. I'll just create this. I'll just make the changes to this S3 bucket policy. And let me go and check here. This is F1. Okay, still it's in the deploying phase. We'll wait for some more time. Maybe like while we are waiting for this, we can discuss about one more concept and come here. So we'll discuss about one more concept called invalidation. So what is meant by invalidation is, for example, like you set up the distribution, you have pointed it to a corresponding origin and everything is working fine. But let's say you are updating your S3 bucket with a new content, new index or HTML, let's say, which means this will not be like propagated to the corresponding edge locations, edge cache. This edge cache will be serving your like stale copy or the old copy of your files to the users. And there is a time period called TTL, time to live. So all this cached objects will be valid till this TTL time period. For example, this could be like 1 day. So this the data will be served from this cache for 1 day, and after 24 hours only, the edge location will go to S3 bucket and get a new copy of data. So this is what it will happen. But for example, let's say like whenever we update a new content, we want to go and refresh the cache immediately, or we want to invalidate the cache. Invalidation in the sense like this, for example, if this is a cache storage which we are having for this edge location, all the objects in this cache can be removed, or based on some regular expression, this objects can be removed from this cache, which means the next time when the user requests for this object, it will see the object will not be available here, so it will go to the actual origin, which is S3 bucket, and then get back the data. So basically, like, this is the idea of cache invalidation. So we'll see this also now. Okay, if we go to our distribution, okay, you can see it is still deploying. Okay, so if we go here, we have the original bucket, and we have something called as invalidations. So this is like we have to create an invalidation with the path. For example, we'll create invalidation something like star, which means when we create this invalidation, all the in all the edge locations, all the objects will be removed, and everything will be fetched from the source from the beginning. So this is a cache invalidation. Hopefully it should be available, but it's still not available. Okay, maybe like what we'll do is I'll show you like one more thing which I have already created and it got deployed. So once a CloudFront distribution is created, because I think we gave it as edge location as all, it's taking some time because it has to create the edge location in different regions. So once it is ready, we'll get a domain like this, some number .cloudfront.net, and we can go to this cloudfront.net. Okay, while yeah. So I made a small mistake in creating the OAC. So if you go to origins, you can choose this, you can go to edit. So the catch here is when I create the OAC or origin access control, I gave the like option as do not sign request. So for example, I'll create a one more new OAC, which is previously I selected do not sign request, and that is a problem. So actually, like you should have signed request, and this is what will enable you to access the ES3 from CloudFront. Okay, so maybe the name is already there, so I'll choose a new name. And we'll make sure like we are using this new OAC. Cool, and I'll do the save changes. So we have the origins now. So we'll go to general, then we'll copy the CloudFront domain URL, CloudFront URL. So if I go to this index.html, yeah, I should be able to see the page. Maybe I'll do a refresh one more time. Okay, yeah, so this is good now. We came to the end of this session in using the CloudFront to deploy the static website. Yeah, so if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. And yeah, happy learning. Bye bye.